building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuting my pain and I cleansed in the rain. Down out, I was worth it and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became. I think that's one of my pet peeves with the Hispanic culture. I'm Hispanic too, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that my pet peeves is like you preaching, the whole religious thing, but then you guys fucking do, and we do cleanses. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
I remember my mom putting glasses of water throughout the house. That was a thing,
Yeah.
but she'd also have the fucking Bible put up like,
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like I'm one of those like old Mexican ladies because I do the similar thing. Like I have my crucifixes, a few throughout the house, but then I have like my little spirituality corner, my little
right,
altar, and one thing I listened to or I was on a live and they told me like put a container with water under my bed. I put water out for my ancestors and my angels. I have someone told me to put tequila out for my grandma, so on
right,
full moons the tequila goes out, and so that like that. So I have this stuff and I do it, but like that's in my room, like no one's gonna see it. But
right.
I do have like a couple things throughout the house. Like I have Florida water in the kitchen. I have a thing of sage hanging off of my front door. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, my mom stays here. And the thing with her is she's done all that like old suspicious stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
know she's had her cards read because I've heard her talk about it to other people. But at the same time, I'm like, is she gonna judge me? And see, that's the other thing is I've learned in this path that I've started in. A lot of people have to like I was always told like you need to heal this. And I was always like I'm fine. Like I'm single. I've been single. I'm good with it. Like I love
Right,
it. And it was always like I was always being told like there's something else. There's something else. Well, I've come to figure out it's a situation between me and my mom because
right,
her and her mom have the same issue, and it's just that is our generational like thing that is going down. And
right.
I think I fixed it between me and my daughters. But had I not started to look into all this stuff, I wouldn't know that that's what it is. And I think that's part of why, like, I'm like hesitant to like really open up to her about it. And like, as soon as she comes to my house, I'm like hiding my cards and I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm like, I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm like, so it's just very, I don't know. It's very weird, but like I have it out, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I think I just don't want to have a conversation about it.
Right, right. Because there's the layers, so the layers that you guys have to get through. And if you're not
Right,
ready, you're not ready. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to make it, and you don't have to kind of make her understand. And I think when you get to that point, it'll be like, okay, you just will. You'll just be doing your cards, and she'll come
right,
over,
right.
and it's like, okay.
She'll probably be like, do my too. I'm like, no way.
Right, like real shit. It's probably gonna be that way where you're like overthinking it, and then it's like, oh shit, she doesn't even give a shit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is. Everyone, and especially in the Hispanic community, everyone knows a person, but it's
Yeah.
so hush hush. And I try to remind us as Latinos that the only reason why it's hush hush is because our people had to be hush hush. The only reason
Right.
why it's so in the dark is because through the different slave trades and through different tyranny and things like that. And when, Catholicism really came into most of the countries of ours, they had to hide it. They had no choice. They had to switch out those, whoever their gods were to saints. And so I try to remind people that you got to remember, look into that history and honor those ancestors in that way. You don't have to say, fuck your religion. You don't have to take the
Right.
crosses down and start burning Bibles and shit. Like, I think that's where people get spirituality confused. Like, no one's saying you got to do any of that shit. You very well could still have your Bible. You very well still can have your crosses and believe in Jesus. Like, none of that has to be taken away from you. But opening up to other things. So I'm glad that you're even doing it where they're still getting that background of religion, but still opening up to other things, other energies, just thinking outside the box of just what religion, empowering them. So
Yeah, that like I just want to add like that is something I kind of decided early on. Like I knew my girls would be grow up Catholic, and I'd raise them Catholic just because it like it's part of who we are, like where our heritage comes from. But at the same time, I want them to be open. Like one of their dads was like, "Well, what if they want to be Jehovah?" I'm like, "Well, by all means, go teach them whatever the hell you want to teach them." I'm like, when they get older and old enough, they can decide on their own. I said, but I want them to have options. I'm like, if they want to look into
right,
um like how do you say being Jewish or Buddhist or whatever, I'm like I'm all for it as
right,
long as they have. I said I am creating a basis of faith, and whatever they choose to go with it, then it's on them. Whatever they want
right,
to believe, like I won't judge them. I just need them to have a base, and that's what I'm giving them, and then they're on their own.
right, right. Crazy, but I love it. Um, how do you find time? Because a lot of people are like, you are single, 3 kids. How do you find time to work, do business, and then still like, you know what, I'm still gonna create time to read and help people? Because there's a
uh
switch that you had to turn on and say that I want to help people with this. No, I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.